Welcome to the Success Journey Show. Let's travel together through the lives of individuals on the road to success.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, travelers? It is Ricky Ventures and Marlon Madden, and we're back with you again for another week of, come on, say it with me, the Success Journey Show. Yes, man. So glad to be back with you guys again for another week. And we have a great guest that's going to be coming and sharing with you in a few minutes. But man, Marlon, what's going on with you this week? How you doing?
I'm living the dream, like I always say, right? Living the dream. Still haven't been on the court, but I have my basketball rim in front of my house, and I still put up shots on that. But
what is it? The Playmate one.
Yeah, I get the dunk on it. That's the only reason I can dunk on it.
3 feet.
Yeah. But Ricky, man, what I'm really loving is this new platform that we're doing our shows on, because, at first we're really leery about. We don't want to put our faces out there. Not that we're hiding, but we're not the guys that want to be in the forefront, like, oh, look at me. But then, because of COVID and everything, and we started to use Zoom more and Teams and Meet and all these different platforms, I'm really happy that we decided to go with this platform, because now we get to, see our guests. People get to see what our guests look like, get to see what we look like. And, it's more interactive, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. And we're hoping that you guys are liking these. Hey, just leave us a comment, review, wherever, on any of our platforms, social media platforms, successjourneyshow.com. Go there. You can see our YouTube page. You can see our social media platforms, our blog, all the whole nine, our merchandise. We have T-shirts, we have books. We have it all, guys. It's all there for you. So leave a review. Let us know how we're doing here. Not only how we're doing here, if you have any other suggestions of people that you would like to hear their stories, and you have contacts or you want us to get in contact with them, let us know and we'll go after it.
Wow. Definitely. Yeah, man.
Cool. So Marlon, man, before we get to it, man, I want to bring just a saying, man, today, man. And I don't know what we're going to call this segment, but I think we're going to start adding this segment here, because there's something I was just thinking about this week. And I'm pulling up right here. I should already have pulled up with my phone locked on me.
Oh, good. We like the transparent, man. We love it.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
We love seeing you struggle with technology. I like seeing it.
No. I'm not struggling with technology. And you may have heard this before, man, but I just want to talk a little bit about what this means for you right here. So without a cow, a stable stays clean, but you need a strong ox for a large harvest. I'm going to say it again. Like, without a cow or oxen, whatever, a stable stays clean.
Correct.
You need a strong ox for a large harvest, man. What does that mean to you, man?
Oh, man, I like how you put me on the spot, but I'm just thinking about the stable stay clean if you don't have the ox. So, it's empty. Nothing to work on. I could just stay at my house, look out the window, and I know I don't have to go to that stable. It's clean.
Yeah.
Right? But then if I want to reap some harvest, if I think I got to get some kind of residual, some kind of income, whatever it is I'm trying to get back or produce, I'm going to have to, what's going to be my pros and cons, right? Or what's going to be my trade-off? Yes, I'm going to have to clean the stables, but that oxen is going to make me, that harvest is going to come in because of that oxen.
Yeah.
So you have to look at life and look like that trade-off that you have to do. Sometimes you have to give up some time. Without you having a project, your time is yours. You don't have to worry about your time. You can sit down and watch the WNBA, you watch the NBA, watch whatever you want to watch. But guess what? Now, if I have a project, I'm going to have to give up that watching the TV at that time to say, hey, let me sit down and have to put my foot to the plow or my oxen to the plow.
Yeah. No, I love it. Yeah, when I read that last week, I read that this morning. I was like, man, a lot of people wanted that easy way. Who wants to clean up? Who wants to take care of something? They just want. But at the end of the day, they actually want the harvest.
Yes.
They want to reap the benefits of it, but they don't want to do the hard work it takes or the cleanup it takes in order to get there. So our travelers, man, I want to share that with you just for one. I want to hear your thoughts. Go to our Instagram page, man. We can post up this quote here. I want to hear what you think about this. But, take a listen to that, man. Like, look at yourself. Are you shying away from, having that ox and whatever that ox represents for you, whether it may be starting that business, whether it be going to school and studying, whether it be, you want to be a professional athlete and actually getting to work and working on your body, working on your craft. You want to be an artist, you want to work on your craft. All these things that take the work, that do the crafting for you. Are you shying away from that, knowing that but really envy the people that are getting the results? So you got to make up your mind now saying, hey, you know what? All right, it's going to be work. But Marlon said the trade-off is I'm going to reap a harvest at the end. And that harvest may be money for you. That harvest may be health for you. That harvest may be a great marriage, great relationship. I can't tell you what that harvest is going to be, but it's all going to be about what you are willing to work at in order to get there. So, yeah, man, I don't know what we're going to call that segment, but we're going to start adding those
I like
every
that.
week.
I like that. On the fly, I like it.
Yeah, and I want you guys to really comment on it as well. But we're going to jump right into it today, man. We have a great, phenomenal guest. Man, you guys, the last few weeks, we told you we're going to bring in the heat. We told you we're going to bring in some guests that are going to share just their stories, and this person today is going to do exactly the same. And we're excited to hear her story. Her name is none other than Jasmine Orsted. Jasmine Orsted. Jasmine, what's going on? How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Doing really great, man. Thank you so much for joining us on the Success Journey Show. Why don't you start off by just sharing with our travelers and listeners all around the world just a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, first off, thank you guys so much just for giving me this opportunity. Y'all have had WNBA players, Wounded Warriors. So this is just, it feels really good to be able to have the same type of platform. So thank y'all. I appreciate it.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
But I had the privilege of growing up outside of Washington, D.C., Woodbridge, Virginia. But I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. So I got the best of both worlds, Got the small city. So.
Yeah. I love it. And so tell me the time frame. So you grew up in D.C., went out to Tennessee. Around what ages did you spend in each of those areas?
All right. Well, I was born in Nashville, but my dad was in the Army, so we just went back and forth, but mainly up here. But the summers, you got to go visit the family in the country.
Yeah.
Get the soul food,
Get that soul food.
Yeah.
Don't get too much though. Oh man, I tell you, don't get too much.
Summer changes. Yeah. No. Get it. And when you were growing up, like, what are some things that you were, just excited about getting into? Just growing up, going back and forth between, DC and Nashville.
Well, very few things are constant between the city and the country, but for me, the one thing was always sports. So I ran track, I played basketball from ever since I can remember to still now, because, I still be breaking the ankles, but that sports has been the love of my life, but basketball, that's the main one.
And how did you fall into that? Like, what was it? Like, was it, can you remember the day that, it's like, man, I really love this sport above like soccer or, baseball or softball, whatever it is, or track, I'm not going to run anymore. I'm going to focus on basketball. Like, what was that deciding factor for you?
I don't know. It's the feeling you get when you play basketball, because, you go into a race or whatever, the stats might not change that much, but basketball, it's about who wants it the most. So I might be shorter, I might be whatever else, but as long as I want it more, I'm going to come out on top. So I've just loved it forever. Love
it. Now, were you like, just to paint a picture for our travelers, were you like country basketball like Larry Bird out in Indiana, shooting on like a peach into a peach basket type thing, or
in a crate?
I mean, one of the craziest things for me, when I was in high school, so like 2009 to 2012 time period, I went back to my granny's for the summer. And I went to the court with my cousins, and I had the sliders on. And everybody's like, why do you have those on? You gonna go to the pool? And they playing in cowboy boots. So I'm like, what? What? This is like completely different world. Because if I came to Woodbridge in some cowboy boots, I ain't gonna make it nowhere.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. So, and I can attest that you could play ball. I'm not gonna lie. I had the privilege of being in LA Fitness. I saw this young lady come in, and usually, I'm not gonna disrespect my females, but a lot of the females, they'll come in and they'll go on the other side and just shoot around. And you'll be like, hey, you wanna get on the next? And they'll be like, no, I'm just shooting around. But she didn't come and say, oh, I want to shoot around. She's like, oh, who am I gonna run with? I was like, oh, okay.
By the way, have your ankles recovered yet? Are you good?
Oh, no. I know I wasn't guarding you. She was that young man that was guarding her, and I was like, So I started to sit down and talk to her, and she kind of shared with me her story on what was going on. And I would definitely like for you to share the story of how basketball took you, the love of your life, or basketball, the game you love, took you to a place where you're like, I could do this on not only at a high school level, but on a collegiate level. But that was met with some opposition. Could you just tell us about that?
Okay. Well, like I said, I loved basketball. So after I graduated, I didn't want to move away from my parents just yet. So I attended Northern Virginia Community College. So I could stay home, they could support me and everything. Yeah. And I played, and I was the MVP of the team, and I had a great year. But still, I didn't want to leave my parents just yet. So I searched Division IIIs within the area, and I found Mary Washington. And I decided to go to Mary Washington because, again, I knew I didn't want my career to stop just at the collegiate level. I had dreams of going overseas, and I was like, okay, let me check stats and everything. And I compared my stats to the girls that were coming back. And I was like, oh, okay, I can be the big fish in the little pond. So, let's do it. I talked to the coach, and she told me, all you have to do is get through 2 months of preseason, and then there's tryouts. And again, I knew I was going to work hard through preseason, and I had compared my stats. So I was like, all right, this is going to be my home for the next 3 years. But from day one of the preseason, Mary Washington is PWI, so primarily white institution, and there were mainly white girls on the team. So we're in, again, the first day we're stretching, and 2 of the white girls come in, and one white girl says, I wonder why Black people name their kids the way they do. They're setting them up for failure. And another white girl was like, I don't know. I knew somebody named LaDasha. And I'm like, what is this? But I just brushed it off. I was like, okay, maybe that is an offhand comment. But, okay. But it persisted. There was another time we had to go around the circle and tell things about ourselves. And so one of the white girls said that her family had done missionary work in Haiti, which is one of the most beautiful things, you can do to try to impact others and help them out. But a white girl responded, so did you get a picture with the skinny, hungry Black boy? And I'm just like, did she really just say that? But all of the white girls, and excluding myself and another Black girl trying out, laughed. And so there were 2 other Black girls on the that were trying out. And I was like, okay, the one that has been here before and she's returning, she's going to tell them that's not an okay joke because you're more familiar with them. But when it gets to her and it's her turn to share a secret about herself, she says that, hey guys, if you trace my last name, it goes to my slave owners. And again, all the girls except for myself and one of the other Black girls trying out just fall on the ground laughing. And I'm like, what is this? Yeah. So then it gets to the point where it's 2 of the girls' birthday parties, and they wanted us to pay for alcohol. And I was underage, and well, a lot of people were underage. But I didn't drink and I don't drink. So instead of going, I still wanted to show I'm trying to be your friend. So I got them this huge birthday card. I got all the girls on the team to sign it. I got the coaches, the trainers, just trying to show that I'm not going to go to your party, but I'm still trying to be your friend. So the next Monday comes around, and the other black girl I mentioned that didn't go along with any of the jokes or make black jokes for the white girls to laugh at, she gets called into the office. And the coach says, well, I'm not going to let you try out because the girls told me that you did underage drinking and that they don't think you fit in. They didn't tell that they provided the alcohol for her to do underage drinking, and they didn't tell that other girls were doing underage drinking, just her. And that's what would have happened to me if I went, but again, that's not my scene, so I didn't go. There were other comments made pretty much every day. Like, the girls weren't exactly sure what my ethnicity was because they saw my mom pick me up, drop me off, and they saw my dad pick me up and drop me off. And one day they decided, well, we're going to go around the circle and tell our ethnicities. So, other girls said,
Wow.
German, Irish, different types. And when they get to one of the black girls, the black girl that was returning, she says, hey, one of my parents is black, but the other one is blurple, like so dark they're purple. And everybody falls on the ground laughing except for me. And then they say, so what are you? And I'm like, well, my mom is African American and my dad's Norwegian. And they're like, so he's European? And I say, yes. So he's white? And I say, yes. So your white daddy had a kid with a black woman and actually married her? Yes.
Wow.
This isn't some new age thing. It ain't like a unicorn on the moon or, just something unheard of. Wow. So I'm like, yes. And half of them fall on the ground laughing, and the other half just look like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. And I didn't respond to it because, that's part of the trap that if I would have responded, now I can potentially be painted as an angry woman. And I was just like, I'm going to keep working hard and they're going to like me if I'm showing you nothing but love. There's no way that you can hate me.
Yeah.
And my mom, who is older and wiser, she's like, Jazz, like, you can't be so nice that if somebody has been taught to be a certain way from 22, 23 years old, like, you're going to change it. But I'm like, no, Mom, love is going to win, But then it got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to work so hard and be so good that you're going to want me on your team because you're going to see I'm going to help you in games. And again, my mom is like, well, Jazz, you ain't going to be so good that somebody's going to be like, I want her to have my spot instead of me. So again, I just still thought I'm a persevere. So 2 weeks before tryouts, the coach calls me in and she says, I'm not going to let you try out. And I'm like, huh? And she says, yeah, the girls say that you're a nice, kind person. They just don't think you fit in. And I say, well, maybe I don't fit in because I'm not making or laughing at black jokes and I'm not participating in underage drinking. And she told me good, bad, or otherwise, right, wrong, or otherwise, I'm not going to let you try out. So I was to try out for the team.
Wow.
So that is a lot to unpack, especially with the current environment. Did you ever think? Let me see how. And I know you said you wanted to, love conquers all approach. But what was going through your mind when that happened? Were you saying, man, when they say that one joke that got under your skin, were you like, how are you really feeling when you're by yourself in your room thinking about the situation?
I mean, I was hot. I was, very angry. But it's also, as a Black woman, however I react to a situation is going to get interpreted a specific way. Even if I'm not having an attitude or whatever the case, it's going to get weaponized. So I just knew, like, okay, maybe if I just keep being nice, like, there's no way you can hate somebody that goes out of their way to be nice to you despite what you're giving to them.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's crazy. So what happened with basketball? I mean, now you went in there because it was your love. You went in there. You didn't want to give up on your dreams, and really, you're just really trying to play ball. I mean, that's what you're trying to do there with them is play. I mean, how did you start looking at that? Just the whole basketball career and just your dream, and how you felt like now is jeopardized because they won't even let me try out.
Right. So, initially all I did was cry. I'm not going to lie. I just sat in my bed and cried because it's like I did everything right. I didn't do the underage drinking. I stood by my morals. I just felt like, I worked hard and I knew I deserved it because, again, my statistics spoke for themselves, and there were girls returning from the year before that only scored 2 points the entire season. So I'm like, I know I deserve this. But I was depressed. And it got to the point where my mom heard me crying. So she came into my room and she bought the Ben & Jerry's, which Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey, love, okay? That is, you haven't tried it, you definitely have to try it. But she brought in my Chunky Monkey, and then she was like, tears aren't going to solve anything. This will make you feel good for the moment. That's why I got it for you. But if you want to feel good in the long run, you're going to stop the tears. You're going to put some hard work in, and you're not going to let the bullies win. You're going to follow your dream.
And into your little segment that you talked about, Rick, with the oxen.
Yep. Exactly. You want to say, you don't want to, sometimes, like I said, guys, you don't know what that cleanup is going to look like. You don't know what that pain is going to look like. You don't know what that discomfort is going to look like. But if you have a goal in mind, you can't let that deter you from going after it, So share with us, Jasmine, and thank you so much for sharing so far, because this is a touching topic, especially in the time that we're living in now, where, it has been brought more to the front limelight, just this racial inequality, things of that nature, prejudice, racism, all those different things. Which you experience right there on that campus, and that no one should ever be experiencing in 2000 plus whatever, at all, So thank you so much for sharing that. And, I look at it now, and, you said, hey, your mother said you got to get up and, wipe the tears away and get to work. Did work look like, working harder in basketball? Did work look like, hey, I'm going to be more of an advocate? Did work look like, oh, I need to go back to school and study this? Like, share with us what work looked like for you in order to overcome this.
All right. Well, so from that specific night where she was like, if you want to win, I was like, okay, but what is my goal? The short-term goal going to be? And I happened to play in the summer league that the Mary Washington team played in the summer league as well. And so I just knew, like, when we play them, I want to win. I want to beat them. This is going to be like, I didn't get, my time in court with them, but I'm going to have my time on the court and I'm going to get buckets. So, that's what I was training for. Every mile, every push-up, everything was just, okay, this is what's going to be my defining moment. And when we actually played them, it was just crazy because, there's about 4 of the Mary Washington girls that actually played on the summer league team. But the day that they played my team, all of the girls from the basketball season where I wasn't allowed to try out showed up. They brought their friends, they brought their parents, waiting to see me lose.
Wow.
And, like, I see all of them, like, roll in there when we're warming up, and I'm like, really? Like, y'all ain't been here for any other game, but you want to see me lose when y'all are the reason I'm not following my dream right now. I didn't do anything to you.
Yeah.
But so, my team ended up winning by 20 points.
Wow.
But the thing is, with about 15 seconds left, all 4 of the Mary Washington girls checked out, and they left the gym along with their friends and the other Mary Washington girls. So they didn't have to shake my hand, and they didn't have to see me win.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like, even after the game, you know, that was going to be my moment that, like, okay, you're going to have to shake my hand. You're going to have to acknowledge my talent, my hard work. And I still didn't get my moment. I remember going up to my mom and I'm just like, you know, they won in the long term. Really, they still got to do college ball. And you can't give me the benefit of just shaking my hand. Like,
Yeah. Wow.
But,
Man, that's crazy. That's
So,
crazy.
so I know you went and you also took some legal actions towards this, towards some of the stuff that was happening to you. Can you talk about that or break that down for us? What made you say, you know, enough is enough? I'm going to do it the love conquers all. I'm going to show you how much. Whoa, she cut out.
No.
That's what, yeah, see if she cuts back in.
Yep.
8 minutes and something left anyway. Yeah, let me see her thing. When did she? No, she should be back in. She was coming in. What was the movie? Okay, you're back.
hello?
There
Yep.
Yep.
You're back.
Okay.
So as you see, I don't know if you see it on your thing, there's only like 7 minutes and something left. Once that runs out, just do what you did before. Just click on back to that thing and we'll come back in and we'll finish up everything. So like I was saying, I see that you said you're going to take some legal actions and you hold your day. You say you didn't get to hold your day in court before, but you held it on that court, the basketball court, and still they try to deny you that gratification. So can you walk us through that, the legal woes that you had to go through in order to, you know, get somebody to prove that, hey, they're actually some kind of form of racism here?
Okay. Well, after that summer game, I had finally got my confidence back that, okay, you know, I'm still going to go play college ball. Like, this is not going to be the end chapter for me. And one of my friends happened to tell me about open gym for Bowie State University. And so I talked to the coach and she was like, okay, hey, it's going to be at this location and just show up. And so I got to the gym. And can we start over? I got nervous for a second.
Yeah. No, you good.
But I wanted to mention Bowie, and I wasn't sure how to like.
Yeah. No, you good. Yeah.
You're good. That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So how should I restart that?
Start from the end of
the game. Yeah.
End of the game.
You got your confidence back. Yep.
Got your confidence back.
Okay. So after the summer league game, I had got my confidence back, and I knew that I didn't want the University of Mary Washington to be like the last chapter for me in basketball.
Okay.
So one of my friends happened to tell me about an open gym for Bowie State University. I called the coach and she let me know the location of where it was going to be at. And I showed up and, you know, I showed out. I was the only one doing a full court defense. And she later on told me, like, she's crazy. She's doing full court defense. I like her. So she told me I could try out officially, like, when the season started. And my parents, words can never express how much my mom supported me throughout everything. She told me that she didn't want them to be the reason why I gave up basketball, the reason why I stopped loving it, just to take my joy, because you shouldn't let anybody take your joy.
Mm-hmm.
And her and my father said, okay, we'll pay for your first semester, but it's on you to get the good grades. It's on you to get the scholarship. And if you don't get it after that first semester, then it's on you. So I buckled down despite having to do a 1.5 hour commute one way. You know how DMV traffic works. It's crazy.
Yes, crazy.
And by the time I had gotten enrolled, I couldn't live on campus. So I was doing that commute, and, you know, at best, it was a 3-hour commute every day. But there were days where I would get out of class at 10 p.m., get home 11:30 p.m., and then we have 6 a.m. practice, which means be there at 5:30 a.m., which means leave at 4. And so there were so many nights I was just on Starbucks because I didn't sleep. You know, there were plenty of nights where it was just like, there's no time for that. I have to make sure I get this scholarship. So I ended up doing that. I got in the starting lineup. I got a scholarship, and I had a 4.0.
Wow.
So, you know, my mom had told me that same night when she was trying to say, like, you know, tears ain't going to solve anything. She said that this setback is a setup for a come up, and that's on you to happen. So I just used all the sadness, all the tears, all the anger to motivate me to get to that part in my life.
Love it.
I getting a track scholarship as well. But unfortunately, I got a injury, so I wasn't allowed to play the next year. I wasn't cleared. But I understand now that God works in mysterious ways, because since I couldn't, you know, do any sports and couldn't get that scholarship, I was able to turn all of my attention to the lawsuit. And I feel like that is what allowed us to win in court. And the fact that we ended up settling, but the judge said, you know, the fact that she went on to a higher division level of play, and not only did she do this, but she had the 4.0, she got in the starting lineup, and y'all can't even give her a tryout, that's not going to look good in court. So ended up settling.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
What I want to know is, so did you ever think in your wildest dream, I don't know if you experienced any kind of racism growing up, that in your lifetime that the situation that you're going through or went through would have happened?
Well, you know, I definitely knew that racism was prevalent. Bit of a backstory. My mom fought the worst case of environmental racism in the United States history in Dixon, Tennessee, where we're from. And it was a 10-year-long fight, and she had breast cancer twice. We got ran off the road. She got threatened by the KKK. So, you know, racism was not a new experience to me, but given that, you know, it was in this area, because my high school, Garfield, was a melting pot. So we never, you know, but I experienced in Tennessee, I never thought I would be dealing with people my age, much less.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I mean, I'm listening to your story, and, you know, your mind would go back to, all right, the 60s, the 50s, even the early 70s. But no, guys, this is in 2017, 2000, right? Am I correct? Around what year was it? 2000?
It was 2013,
2013, yeah.
2014.
Yeah, 2013, 2014, man. It's like 7 years ago. That's what I meant. 7 years ago. You know, it's just like, come on, man. I mean, the society that we live in now, you would think that we're, you know, beyond a lot of these things that people are facing every single day still. And, you know, I'm glad that Jasmine is sharing her story as to what she has experienced, and that, it altered her overall dreams, but I believe that it gave her a platform for something that's coming greater for her in the future. Travelers, I'm hoping that you're really, really getting to hear this story, and that, you know, if this is a story that resonated with you based on an experience that you've gone through, I encourage you to speak up about it, so that, you know, it will raise more of an awareness, because I know by the raising of the awareness, it helps free people, helps people to realize, you know, what's really going on in the country that surrounds us, that we're in a lot of places where we wouldn't think that would be happening. So, you know, so far we heard a story of a young girl that when she was young, she loved basketball, and she grew up, had the passion of playing basketball, playing overseas. And, you know, she went to a college where she thought that she'd be able to have the opportunity to grow. And it felt like that dream was just ripped away from her. But then that dream, the instance that the experience that she had there, has kind of shifted her in a different direction, to where now she has a story to share with the world about, hey, one, she overcome racism. Two, she proved to herself just where her greatness lies. And three, she was able to show others around her, you know, just what she is capable of, and herself, you know, with the 4.0 GPA, getting a scholarship from Bowie State, which are phenomenal things. Now, Jasmine, you know, I know there's so much more that you want to share with us, man. What's another thing that's on your mind that you want to really get out to the world and just share about your story?
Well, so ever since this happened, I just felt like bullying, anti-bullying is like the calling that I'm supposed to do. So I've been working on a book. I've talked to youth groups. I've talked to church groups, because the bullying statistics are just astronomical. For instance, 1 out of every 5 child has said that they've been bullied. And a statistic that blew me out of the water was a study from 2001 to 2017 showed that the suicide rates for Black male adolescent youth has risen 60%. And for Black adolescent female youth, it rose 182%. And it's numbers like that that just keep me up at night, that I'm like, I want to get to these kids. I want to talk to these kids and let them know, like, you can overcome your situation. You can go above and beyond whatever, restraint somebody puts on you, and you don't have to turn to that. You can be your own hero.
I love that. You can be your own hero.
You could be your own hero. So what are some of the things that, I know you said you're tough, but when I first met you, I know you wanted to get your story out there, and I know that's and I wanted to try to get your story out there, which we're doing now. But I saw that, even Colin Kaepernick had tweeted your story out, D.L. Hughley. How did you feel when you're going through that situation? You saw those people, Colin Kaepernick going through what he was going through, and D.L. Hughley is a very, he talks about these kind of situations all the time. How did that help you out, or what did you think about that?
The support that I received after the Washington Post and The Root wrote about it was it was crazy. Like, I was getting DMs, I was getting emails, I even got texts, and I'm like, how'd y'all find my number? But it was, but it was all love. It was all love. So I was like, okay, that works. Like, I'm happy. But it's just like, I can't even say like validated as a word. It's just so much love that, I heard from people that were like, I played sports back in a time that you kind of just took whatever you were gave and you walked away because that was in the best interest for you and your family and, your life. Like, you don't speak out about injustice. I had parents reach out to me saying their kids had experienced it or they're experiencing it now. So I'm giving them your story to read to let them know. But even beyond that, like the comments in the Washington Post and The Root and, people overflooded the actual Mary Washington's like public profile saying, we want justice, we want this. Mary Washington alumni reached out to me saying, this isn't right. We're going to talk about this at the next meeting. And there was also a gentleman, his name is Mr. Art Taylor. He created a End Racism at Mary Washington. It was a petition to get the coach and the athletic director fired. And I'm just like, to realize that people care, but more so that they resonate with your story and that it gives them hope. Like, that's the best thing for me. And, that's why I want to talk about it with kids. But also when Colin Kaepernick, what? Like, he's like like, he took the time to retweet it. Like, I cried. Like, when D.L. Hughley had the GED section covered it, I cried again. And now Miss Shirlene McCray, the mayor's wife of New York, she said, way to stand up to the bullies. And I'm just like, wow, like, my story actually matters. Like, that's crazy. And the love was just, it was amazing.
Oh man, I love it.
Yeah.
So as you're going down now and you're sharing with the youth, sharing with schools, all around, and still sharing your story, what are some things you're looking forward to in the next couple of years as you develop this platform?
I would just, there's another statistic out there that when there is an in-school anti-bullying platform, it decreases bullying by 25%. So I would want to try to be part of whatever 25 or any percent that's going to let kids know, okay, you don't have to resort to self-harm. You don't have to bully somebody else to feel validated. Like, that's the impact that I want to have. I just want to help kids get through whatever they're trying to get through, and adults too, because I was 20 when I went through everything, and it was just as horrific and just as damaging as if I was any other age. So
yeah,
that's what
It sounds like you got some fighters in your family though, because your mother going through what she went through in Tennessee, and your dad, of course, him having to, because I know they're probably coming from, I don't want to ask their age, but probably when they first started way back in the day, not way back in the day, but when they started interracial dating each other, that stuff is really, probably was frowned upon, and it took a strong person to really say, okay, we're going to do this together. And I think that's why she was able to bring that ice cream in the room, and I'll give you that talk to say, hey, this tears, it was somebody that went through something that had wisdom to say, these tears right here, yep, I'm gonna let you cry for a little bit, but now we got to get up and we got to clean that barn.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Got to get some oxys in there, and we got to make sure that they mess it up good enough. When they mess it up good enough, that means they're working.
Yeah.
right.
So Jasmine, to share this, knowing what you know now, and we always ask our guests this, just to, in retrospect, like we say, 2020 is hindsight is 2020, right? If you can go back to your 20-year-old self, first getting on the campus, Mary Washington, and you can just grab yourself for 30 seconds and just share something with your younger self, as she's getting ready to experience what you went through, without knowing it, what would you share with her?
I would tell her that your God can turn a test into a testimony, a trial into a triumph, can turn a mess into a message, and can turn a victim into the victorious. I come from a praying granny, so if I could have
the seed boy, I tell you,
Southern Baptist granny, so she's on it.
Yeah, get some organs in here and let you preach.
Just let myself know that you don't, not to feel regret, in terms of that I didn't do the underage drinking. Maybe if I would have did it, they would have been my friends, or maybe if I would have let some of my morals just go out the window, okay, they'll like me, just to let her know, no, you were right for standing up, and what you're doing is going to make a change.
Yeah. Love it. Travelers, man, I really hope that you have enjoyed listening to this session here, that through this session, your eyes have been open to some of the difficult situations that a lot of people are going through, whether they're professionals, whether they're basketball players, whether they're students, professional athletes, whatever it is, it's no respecter of person. And unfortunately, the world that we live in, and especially the events that we have experienced now in 2020, has really brought it to even more to the limelight that there's inequality, there is injustice, and there is bullying and discrimination still going on in today's world. And we just really want to share this episode with you. And it's funny because we were supposed to interview Jasmine back in May or earlier this year. And we pushed it off to today, not knowing what we were going to be experiencing right now.
Correct.
It's crazy, I'm glad we had it now, because before it probably would have been another message mixed in with plenty of messages in the past. But right now is the time and the opportunity to really share even more of these stories while ears are open and people are willing to hear the stories, and not just hear the stories, but make a difference in the world that's around them. So Jasmine, before we let you go, I did hear that you are writing a book, and we're excited about that, looking forward for that to come out. We will keep you accountable to make sure that you don't just keep saying you're going to write a book like another guy I know. I'm not going to mention anything. I'm not going to mention his name on here, But can you just share where our listeners can learn a little bit more about you, whether it is a social media, website, whatever it is that you would like to share with them? You don't have to share your number. We don't need anyone texting you.
Well, you know, if you want to connect with me on Facebook, it's just Jasmine Orsted. Instagram is the same. And I respond to messages definitely since it's quarantine. But I'm open to any type of dialogue. If you need somebody to talk you through your situation or your children's situation, or you just want somebody to pray for you, I'm definitely here to let you know that whatever you're going through, you can definitely make a change, and you are valid and you are important. And God will use you to make something better for somebody else. And you just can't fight it, you know. You have to accept, like, okay, God picks his strongest warriors to fight the toughest battles. Because you would have asked me if I really could have made any change initially, I probably would have been like, you know, I don't know, maybe, I don't, you know. But before I went to Mary Washington, the 14 years prior, they only had 2 Black girls play on the basketball team. But 3 years after my lawsuit, they've had 7. So never doubt what type of impact that you can have on any type of situation.
Love it. Love it. Hey, Jasmine, you know, I know you did not go on this journey alone. I know you mentioned your parents had supported you along the way. You people reached out to you in text messages, DMs, just from all over, just sharing how much they're there for you and supporting you. We know you cannot have won this journey and gone through this journey alone in terms of even representation. You say you've gone to court. Is there anyone else that you want to shout out right now as that helped you along this process?
Yes, the law firm of Victor Glassberg and Associates, Max and Chuck and Mr. Glassberg, they were angels. You know, I just want them to know that they are my superheroes. They made the law live up to its potential, because my mom and I, we went through the yellow book, every law firm, name by name. We went on Google. You know, we probably called 300 other law firms that didn't want to take the case, but they took, and, you know, they ran with it. And without them, it wouldn't have been possible. So I definitely appreciate them.
When travelers, man, that we come to the end of another show, and we challenge you just to think through just this show, think through the events that took place in Jasmine's life, think about areas where you can make an impact to, you know, for change, you know, in this situation, and we hope that you guys are enjoying these shows, man. Marla and I, we're really enjoying this, bringing these shows week after weeks to you, but we really want to hear from you. And so how we can hear from you is if you leave a review on our social media platforms, leave a review on any podcast platform that you're listening to. There is no excuse. We're on every podcast platform that is out there. So, you know, reach out to us. And if you don't know how to leave a review, reach out to us and we'll show you how to leave a review. But listen, man, we love being with you guys every single week. We love sharing these stories with you. And we hope that you are doing well wherever you are. We know right now we're still all around the world. We're still suffering and going through this whole pandemic. And we just hope that everyone is safe, everyone is healthy, and we will see you guys again next week at the same time on a Success Journey show. All right, everyone, have a good one. Peace.
One love.
You've been listening to The Success Journey Show, where your dreams, drive, determination, and diligence are the foundation to success. For more information, check out thesuccessjourneyshow.com. The Journey Squad is here helping you to your destination. You've been listening to The Success Journey Show, where your dreams, drive, determination, and diligence are the foundation to success. For more information, check out thesuccessjourneyshow.com. The Journey Squad is here helping you to your destination.